My 36 wife passed away 2 years ago. I have a 11-year-old son named Sean. I'm doing okay with money. I have a stable income and support system. I have a friend named Kate. We've been together since we were kids. She's like a sister to me, although she tends to boss me around. She's introduced me to her female friends hoping that I'll settle down again. I told her I have other priorities and I'm required to focus on Sean and his health. He's diabetes. Kate thinks there's something wrong with me, but not everyone's circumstance is the same. I started noticing a pattern in her behavior after she introduced me to a friend of hers. She'd tell me to leave Sean at home when we hang out and meet her friends. She'd tell me to take down any pictures that have my son and wife in it because ladies will assume that I'm a single dad or still married and that'd limit my chances in dating. I told her to knock it off. And she said that she was looking out for my social life, saying I'm ruining it and exhausting myself. I stopped talking to her for days. Then I decided to let it go. She's been insisting on bringing her friend to visit me with other friends. I agreed to have them as guests. Kate suggested I take Sean to stay with a relative since it'll be adult dinner, but I refused. He was comfortable in his home and didn't want to go. Kate was at my place before her friends arrived. I checked on Sean and told him to tell me if he needed anything before he went to sleep. At 12:30, while I was sitting and just starting to chat with Kate's friend, while Kate kept blinking at me with a smirk on her face, I got a text message from Sean telling me he wanted to use the bathroom, but the door handle was stuck and he couldn't open the door. I went upstairs to check. Kate followed me. I found that the door was actually locked. I was confused. I asked Sean and he said he didn't lock it. I started looking for the key. That's when Kate quietly handed it to me, saying she took it. I was stunned. I opened the door for Sean, then I asked her why she locked the door. She said that lied to her friend about me not having kids and didn't want her to see Sean. She said it was no big deal since he was sleeping, but I was furious. I started yelling at her as she kept shushing me. Everyone started leaving after I yelled at Kate and cussed her out for doing this. She blew up after her friend left and said I was an idiot cause most people don't mention kids until after months into dating. And that I didn't deserve her help to move on when she thought I was a decent, sane person. I called her stupid and told her to get out of my house. She told me to wallow in my misery and left. Then her friends kept blaming me for making a scene and treating Kate like that, especially since she cooked dinner and helped a lot. Not the idiot, and you won't find anyone saying otherwise. Who locks a kid inside a room? And behind their parents' back too. You need to cut off Kate completely. She doesn't understand. No. Wants you to pretend your son doesn't exist and is spewing off lies about dating etiquette. You absolutely need to disclose if you have children or not from the beginning. She told me to wallow in my misery and left. No friend says that. She's the miserable one. Focus on yourself and your kid and do whatever is best and comfortable for both of you. Not the idiot. I'm sorry for your loss. What Kate did is inexcusable. She literally locked your child in their room in their own home in a bid for control. Absolutely not. You need to burn the whole damn apron, not just cut the strings. What if there had been a fire? Cut Kate out of your life for good. Endangering your child's welfare is not a way to help you or move on from your wife's untimely passing. Your friend is showing the behavior of a psycho. Who locks a kid in their bedroom? Why is she so obsessed with you dating? You are only 36 years old and still grieving. It is not a good idea to lie about your kid. If they can't handle you having a kid, then clearly they aren't the one for you. I know you and Kate have been friends for a while, but no way would I let her around my son again. I met a guy on a dating app. We hit it off and we arranged for our first date. Things were going well. We had sat down and had started some small chat. Our waitress comes over asking us what we want to order. I say what I want and gesture to him so he can order. He orders and then pulls what I think is about $15 on the table. He says, "This is your tip. Every time you mess up, I take some away." The waitress looked nervous immediately. I'm sitting there a bit shocked, but mostly embarrassed because I wasn't expecting this. She must have been new as well, because she did spill some drinks on our table that night, gave us the wrong food, and overall just seemed lost. He took away $13. I asked him why he thought doing tips this way was a good idea. He said it was the best way to ensure good service. When I disagreed, he said, "Can't always be nice to these people, it's not a respectable job." I decided then that I wanted nothing to do with him, and called the waitress over to get the bill. I slapped a $20 bill in her hand and got up to pay for my own meal. Later that night he had demanded to know why I had given her the tip despite her poor service, and I told him it's because he decided to treat her livelihood like it was a game. He said because of me she'll never improve her service and that I'm just a people pleaser. I blocked him, but I've wondered ever since if that was really the right thing to do. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. That kind of game is only played by rude folk who have no respect for those they deem below them. That poor waitstaff didn't deserve to be treated like trash because of her job, because she was new, because she's human and not a perfectly functioning robot. Kindness is free. His way of tipping is an idiot move. I've heard of that before, and if I was a waiter, I would be offended by this garbage and wouldn't wait on him. It's a horrible way to treat people. Mind you, we're still in the middle of a pandemic and things don't go right. Restaurants are short-staffed and not all food is available. She could lose tip money on things she cannot control. This is just bullcrap. Move on, lose that guy. He is though. First off, if she was new, he made her more nervous than she already was by playing this game, which I guarantee you led to her making her mistakes. Second, any job is a respectable job if it puts food on your table and pays your bills. To say otherwise is just delusional. I would have done the same thing. You are definitely not the idiot. My partner, 34, and I, 28, have been together for 5 years. She has a daughter, 8, from a previous relationship. Right off the bat, it was made known I had fertility issues and likely wouldn't ever be able to father a child. I moved slow in the relationship, although I had fallen in love with her fast. When things got serious, I overheard her telling her sister she was concerned that I might be an aggressive type person because of the amount of scars I have. I didn't want her scared away, so I told her I had a bad childhood and left it at that. A little over 2 years into our relationship, I felt somewhat comfortable opening up, and for the first time I told her exactly why I'm infertile, which is a direct result of an injury I suffered due to trauma as a child. She was really empathetic, and I was just thankful I had found the one I want to spend my life with. That also came with a kid I adore. Fast forward to last summer. My partner and her friend decided to play an impromptu prank on me. I came home from work, there were multiple positive pregnancy tests in the bathroom. My partner announced she was pregnant. I started freaking out, a happy freak out, cause I thought I had hit the lottery with the slim to none chance I have. They both started laughing. The tests were from the friend and not my partner. I was pretty much devastated and felt really let down that my partner would actually pull a prank like that. At first she was shocked by my reaction and said, "I thought you'd know it was a joke considering your circumstances." She ended up apologizing after realizing how hurt I was. Now for the point of the post. 3 weeks ago she arranged a huge dinner with her entire family at our house. She had us play this stupid mystery game and ultimately announced to everyone she's pregnant. Her mother and sisters were deliriously happy. Immediately I got pissed, thinking this was yet another prank, so I showed absolutely no emotions, which everyone caught on to. I said to my partner, "Either you're just mentally disturbed or you're cheating." That's pretty much when all hell broke loose. My partner's POV is that she was sincerely apologetic about the prank, and I should know her well enough to not think she'd ever pull that stunt again. She's also livid at me for ruining the announcement, embarrassing her in front of her entire family, causing them to think I'm a horrible person, and then finally insinuating that she's a cheater. I still stand by my claim that had she never pranked me, my reaction would have been different. I do find it odd she decided to tell me along with her family. Things would have likely gone over better had she told me first, and then we announced it together. But I'm starting to think I acted immaturely, causing scene in front of her family, and I think that's maybe where I'm wrong. Not the idiot. That prank was just beyond cruel. And then to announce it with everyone and not tell you privately is insensitive and immature. Your reaction was to be expected. I see both these as red flags for your relationship. Congrats on the baby though, although I'm sure you'll have doubts until paternity test happens. Not the idiot. Frankly, that prank was cruel. No wonder you thought an actual announcement was another prank. I'd get a paternity test ASAP after the kid is born, and in the meantime seriously think about if you want to stay attached to this woman. If you do, the two of you need major couples counseling. If you don't, and the kid is yours, I'd try fighting for full custody. If you don't, and the kid is not yours, then get out of there. Get a paternity test. She lost all trust when she danced with the devil in tricking you, considering your traumatic past. That was stone cold. Your reaction at the dinner party is her consequence from her dumb actions. Her announcing the pregnancy without consulting you beforehand is another red flag. She's either a highly immature adult or a conniving, scheming person. Either way, she's the villain here. In January of 2019, my husband was diagnosed with a brain tumor. It was in a completely inoperable part of the brain, and was told he had 6 months to live. He stuck it out and died in October, 3 months longer than he was expected to. He was always positive, and decided a few weeks after his diagnosis that he would write letters for our daughters for significant events in their lives. My husband was my soulmate, and the past few months have been difficult knowing I've lost him. We have 2 daughters, Mia, who is 21, and Imogen, Imi, who is 19. All 3 of us have become a lot closer since their dad's death, and we've all really struggled. My husband and I were together since we were children, got married when we were 18, and we were approaching our 20th wedding anniversary when he passed. In February of this year, Mia got married to a boy she's been with for about 6 years. I absolutely love her husband, and he's been incredibly supportive during all of our grief. My husband wrote a letter for Mia to open on her wedding day. It's worth noting that my daughters were unaware of these letters. It was my job to give them to our daughters. Her wedding day comes around and I just can't bring myself to give her the letter. I read it and just wanted to keep it to myself. I had his handwriting and his words, and it felt like he was there, and I couldn't bear the thought of giving that up yet. I was fully intending on giving her all the other letters as the events happened. Last week, Mia and her husband bought their first home together. They'd been living at our home since they got married, and so had a lot of stuff to pack and move to their new house. Mia asked me where her important documents were, passport, birth certificate, etc., so I told her they were in my top drawer of my dresser in my bedroom. The only letter that was in there was the one I was meant to give her on her wedding day, the rest were hidden away. She immediately recognized his handwriting, and of course it was addressed to her, so she read it and broke down. She came and found me and started screaming at me, asking how I could be so selfish. I didn't really know what to say apart from the fact that I wanted to keep it and she could take a picture of it. Both my daughters called me an idiot and are convinced I'm keeping them from a load of their dad's stuff. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot and she's right, you are selfish, and a thief. That wasn't yours to keep. My dad died when I was 17. Do you have any idea how hard it is to marry a man my dad never got to meet? To walk down the aisle without him? My wedding day was supposed to be one of my best memories, and instead it was just so hard. A letter would have meant the world to me. What you did was rotten. And the fact that you still haven't realized that speaks volumes. This wasn't only your loss. Do you not realize that? You are the idiot. I can't imagine the horrible grief of losing your spouse, and I certainly understand you wanting to hang on to any remnant of your husband that you can. However, those letters were meant for your daughters as part of your husband's dying wishes. They deserve to have them. You're being selfish and ignoring their grief, and you're also disrespecting the memory of your husband. Ask your daughters if you can take a picture of the letters and let them have the originals. You are the idiot. You selfishly stole an important letter addressed to her from her dead dad, on one of the most important days of her life. Then, to make it worse, you don't apologize and give her the letter. Instead, you suggest she can take a photo of it so you can keep her property, which is made even worse by the fact it's a letter from her dead dad. I 26 been with my fiancé for 3 years. We both work and we both share rent and other expenses. But my fiancé is currently looking for a new job. He lost his old job 3 months ago. My family lives 30 minutes away, and although it's been difficult this year, I decided to get my brother, who has a chronic condition and struggled a lot lately and was in the hospital for a few days for anemia, the one thing he's been wanting for some time. I got him an Xbox that cost me $300. He was so happy, and I'm glad I was able to cheer him up during those times. My fiancé received a few gifts from his family, but he wasn't happy with any of them. I got him a perfume and he liked it. We were visiting my family and we had dinner with them. My fiancé looked at the Xbox I got for my brother and didn't stop talking about it. My parents noticed. I told him to stop complaining about what he got/didn't get this year. That made them uncomfortable, especially since they've been dealing with my brother's health issues and needed to relax. We got home and my fiancé took something from the closet and left for about an hour. I was asleep when he came back. In the morning, I was surprised to find my brother's Xbox in the closet. I woke him and asked him about it. Turned out he dropped me off, drove back to my family's house and exchanged the gift his aunt gave him, a $14 fancy pen, with my brother's Xbox. He said that my brother was happy to exchange gifts. I was so mad I told him this wasn't for him and he basically took something that is not his. Not to mention a pen for an Xbox, that's ridiculous. He told me that maybe I shouldn't have spent $300 while trying to pay for rent. I told him as long as I can pay rent that's not a problem. And that he needs to find a job if he thinks my money isn't enough. I called my mom and I found out that they didn't actually exchange gifts. My fiancé pressured my brother into giving him his Xbox. I was livid and so mad I told him to take the Xbox back to my brother, but he said it was between him and my brother, but I insisted. He refused, so I ended up taking it myself. My fiancé argued when I took it and said that I was pressuring him and treating him poorly and have no respect for his feelings. I told him he was wrong to make my brother give him his gift and causing him stress and ruining his joy. I apologized to my brother and my parents and I felt awful because of how my fiancé behaved. My fiancé isn't talking to me, saying that I have no consideration for his feelings and not understanding how he feels not having money to buy himself the things he likes. I'm surprised because he has never done anything like this before. I get that he's struggling with finding a job, but this is not an excuse. Not the idiot. That's gross, to be honest. Your fiancé is a grown man. Your brother is a teenager struggling with chronic health issues. Fiancé is acting like a brat. He didn't have an issue with you spending $300 on an Xbox, he had an issue with you spending $300 on an Xbox that wasn't for him. He was also deceitful to you, pushed past your brother's boundaries, and displayed a disregard for your whole family just so that he could get what he wanted. Are you reevaluating your imminent marriage yet? Because you probably should. Your fiancé took advantage of an ill teenage boy under your parents' roof during a family gathering and tried to lie about it. He manipulated your brother, the situation, and gaslit you. This is a big red flag. If he can do this to your brother, how do you think he will take advantage of you in the future? This was a calculated manipulation of a minor. This is your first warning. Don't wait for more. Run. Not the idiot. And if this is genuinely out of character for your fiancé, I recommend talking with him about meeting a therapist, ASAP. This year has been terrible and the impact on a lot of people's mental health has been astounding. Maybe your fiancé is actually this selfish and manipulative, but these do not sound like the actions of a well person.